Hello, welcome. Marlene here. Last year, Callie of Sweet Sugar Belle came out with a really awesome Halloween cookie cutter set. It's still available this year, and I thought I'd dig it out and reuse it this year, kind of redesign the shapes. You'll find the templates and the downloadable files to create the paint-a-cookie stencils on my new Etsy shop if you want to get those. And today I'll be demonstrating how to transfer the stencils onto prepared dry white icing. These were designed as kind of dual purpose as both stencils and decorating templates. You can use your Pico projector to decorate your cookies, or you can kind of print off some templates and cut with an X-Acto knife to create your guidelines. My stencil plastic is big sheets, like 8.5 by 11, and if I cut 6-inch squares, well, I basically get only one per sheet. And since this is just for me, I just fit 6 on, as you can see, and then I just move the holder around on the sheet. And here I can just put the holder on and then rest that on my cookie. And you see, it doesn't matter that I have these other stencils around. It's still very nicely secured onto the surface of the cookie, you see? Here's my completed version. You can see I kind of did a fade with the color. Let's rest that on the cookie here. I'm just resting my stencil on the cookie, and you can see it lines up perfectly. And then I'm going to grab my purple royal icing and just add that to the top area. There, and then I'm just going to add the dark gray, or black I should say, here on the bottom area. And then we're just going to gently lift this off. Let me just remove the excess right there. And we have a little bit of some like purple up the top, and then the black cupcake liner just gives them a little bit more of a decorated, less boring look, and then you can come in and paint them in a corresponding color. Here you can see I added icing to the skull and to the pumpkin, and I added some sprinkles to paint. So you see, just some raised elements to the paint-a-cookie make it just a little bit more interesting. Well, these are creepy eyes, if you can see, and I redesigned that to have like a ghost and a jack-o'-lantern, and I'm going to do again a two-tone on this one. I'm going to, here, let's start with the black, or the gray I should say. I'm going to do the ghost up top here in the gray, wipe my scraper, and then get some green and do the actual jack-o'-lantern in green. And let's see how this turns out. I'm adding the first layer of my boy Day of the Dead skull. Just laying that down. I can see here my icing is a bit round right there, so it's going to curl up. So you just look at it a bit before you start adding your icing to where you're potentially going to have an issue. Here, as I press, it's causing some curling. So I'm going to start from the outside here. And I think that looks okay. Let's see. All right. There we have the first layer. Here is the second layer of the stencil, the white, where you come in and add a few little details. My stencil is kind of tricky to line up just because of where it's cut on the plastic here, so I'm just placing the stencil and then sealing it in after, like that. And you can see through the stencil where to position the flowers and the teeth and all that. You want to center them on the black area. And then the flowers and the eyes. And let's lift this off. And you see all the pretty detail is revealed. I'm just adding some white elements to the black here with the piping bag. I guess you could add these to the stencil, but I wanted them to be a little bit more up. Just like so. And you can add some dots where you see fit. That again will get painted. Here's my spider, and I'm just resting that on there. You can see, here's my spider, just resting my stencil on there. And I'm gonna do green this time just to switch it up. And let's lift this off. Isn't that just the cutest thing? I love it. My stencil's on the big side, but I'm gonna make it work. I don't feel like cutting it again, so I have to press down to get the design to fit. So I'm just gonna turn it this way so I can kind of press from the top and the bottom. There, like that. And I'm going this way and this way to not get under the stencil. Oh, there. Let's see how that's going. Oh, I just saw I have to scrape over here. There. All right, let's see. I have an issue right here to rectify, and then right here. Second layer of our princess version. I'm lining, just look at the lashes, that's kind of the quickest way to line this up. And then everything else kind of works. And I'm picking up a bit of my white icing. And I think that's it. Let's see. There she is. Here is our princess, and my stencil didn't get perfect over here, so I'm just coming in with my same icing just in a piping bag, and I'm just adding the swirl with my piping bag to correct that little element. Just just like so. And then on this one, same thing. So I'm just correcting my little flaws that are bothering me with my piping bag, and she's done. Last thing, if you want, on her crown, you can come in and add, you know, some dimensional elements that also can be painted just for interest. You see, just like that, just a few dots, and it kind of like just gives them something else to do on there. Here's that spider that I did earlier, and again here I'm adding some white elements so that they can paint. If not, on the purple it's tricky. And you can certainly use these guidelines as a design template, so you can actually just decorate the cookies with it, or you can actually use it to make the paint a cookie. You see, just like that. And there. You see? This gives it just something to kind of work on, as opposed to just this version. So it's entirely up to you. I'm going to tweak the eyebrow here too. There. And you can see by adding a few lines, you're giving them something to paint. Here are the completed cookies. Once again, as you can see, stenciling in color just kind of switches it up. Always black kind of gets maybe a little bit redundant. And I like the two color as well. And what I really like, especially for older children, so that they don't just have to slop on the icing, having those kind of relief elements makes painting a little bit more interesting, I think. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You'll find the instant downloadable files on my Etsy shop. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.